Hi, this is Adam from Small Town Machine Shop, and we're getting back to work on the Craftsman drill press. So here's the part of the quill. We got this all cleaned up. Got one of the bearings in the top of it. The upper bearing was bad, but we're going to go ahead and replace both of them. Now I test fit the bearing on this side, and it comes in and out of there pretty easily. So what we're going to do, we got it all cleaned out with solvent. Just a bit of this Loctite bearing mounts. You could use the blue or the red, would probably work just as well. Just a few little drops. There. As you can see, I was able to push that bearing in just by hand. So, okay, so that's in there. This longer part is the bottom. So I went ahead and cleaned up the quill itself. I'm going to leave this chuck on here for now. I've got a better chuck coming, but this one's it's perfectly functioning. And that cleaned up. You can see the little, oh, well, that's going to show up. That's where the retainer screws into it. It's kind of crude the way that happens, but it's been like that on a few of these I've taken apart. So now, slide this guy over this, all the way down. Turns nice and smooth. Then, this little rubber washer goes over, presses down on the inside of the bearing there. And this is the collar. There's the socket head cap screw. Put it on there, lined up. I put a little bit of a downwards force on this. Set up a bit, get it lined up. There we go. And get that just a little. You know, there's an indentation for it there, so you don't need to go crazy. There. Quill. New bearings. Spins nice and free. We also went ahead and replaced the bearings on the motor pulley. Those drove on with a deep well 27mm socket that fit perfectly on the inside of the bearings. There's a metal spacer and a snap ring groove to hold those in place. Also cleaned up the feed gear. It was packed full of old grease. I still need to do some cleaning in the middle. This is where the return spring goes in. This cross hole right here gets pinned and also holds the, see if I can show that. Yeah, right there. The pin that holds the handle on, right there, goes through this loop here. And that's what holds that in place. So that way, on the other side, this piece engages with these, that spring part going across, I mean. And that what gives you the return. A common problem with these Craftsman drill presses, or really any that use this style of adjustment, this groove will get packed full of grease. And then there's a socket head cap screw that goes through the body. And you can turn this and adjust the tension on that spring. A lot of the times it won't adjust because it's so packed. It just won't turn in there anymore. So if you take this out and clean it, put a little bit of oil grease on there, a lot of the time, if your quill's not retracting all the way, that'll take care of it. Another thing that's very common is these splines on the quill go through the splines here. This is open on top. So all kinds of dust and crud can find its way down in there. So another thing that can cause the quill not to retract all the way is something caught up in here. It really doesn't take that much to make it drag and hang up. So it's a good idea to oil this. And it's not that hard to pop this part out. And this really. Only about 10 minutes. And go through it every once in a while and clean it if it's starting to, not retract fully. So this handle here was obviously homemade. This was made off a cutoff. You can see maybe where, yeah, drill bit got into it from whatever was the rest of it. It's all welded together. I don't know how much it bothers me as far as making a new one. I thought about, I have this piece of steel here. These two holes are already, spaced properly. Just chuck it in the lathe, turn it down, bore this to this is 1.25 inches, pretty much right on diameter. Bore that out and make a new handle. And I might do that. That'll be at the very end, and I'll see how much this bothers me. I mean, I'm not selling this drill press. It's going to be a shop machine. So, I still want it to look nice and function properly, but 100% aesthetics are, not the main goal here. So, put that back on there. So yeah, we have the quill assembled. Next, we're going to look at the body of it, get it cleaned up, get it painted. We'll talk about a few different things on the painting of these machines. And then we'll start installing the quill, the drive pulley. We got to do some work to the plate that holds the motor. One of the pins, the tensioning pins, came out. And yeah, we'll start reassembling this thing. Thanks for watching. This is Adam with Small Town Machine Shop. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye.